Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the biggest nose, Jay-Z Courtside, coming at y'all today on October 15th. Yeah, that's right. Back-to-back days. Y'all got pods. I got to get in the rhythm of doing these daily. Now, these are not live, but I do want to tell y'all again, if you guys have been listening and enjoying, we are going to be doing live daily podcasts on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, Kick, Twitter, wherever you can go live, we'll be there. 9 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, if you want to tune in and watch it live and interact with me and the rest of the community. Guys, y'all saw the title and the thumbnail. You already saw the top 10 point guards. If you haven't saw my ranking, be sure to go and check that out. These are going to be daily for these next 5 positions, or next 4 positions, as y'all know. We're doing shooting guards this episode, next small forwards, and so on. I hope you guys did enjoy the first episode. Be sure to let me know down in the comments. And before we get started, I don't have that much on our laundry list today, but be sure to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify, and be sure to leave a like on the YouTube. Again, if you guys are listening on Spotify or Apple, I do appreciate y'all very, very much. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are trying to get to 1,000 subs on there. Be sure to sub to our main documentary channel, Jay-Z Uncut, as well as joining our Discord server, coming through our Twitch streams, our Kickstream, everything. All the links you'll need will be down below in the description. I got my first 1-star review. Apparently, some guy said that in the one positive thing about each NBA team going into the next season, he said I was only positive about the Pistons. I strongly disagree with that. But shout out to him for listening, and shout out to all you guys for tuning in as well. If you do want to do more than listen and you want to see me put a face to the voice, again, we are doing these all live, and you got the videos on the YouTube. All right, so we're going to be popping up some highlights throughout the season, as well as some nice visuals that we got going on there that you can only see on the YouTube Jay-Z Courtside. All of that out of the way, I say let's just get right into it, y'all. And number 10 was very, 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 very difficult. I know there's a lot of good and above average shooting guards in the NBA now. You could have went anyway. I know I did honorable mentions in the first episode with the point guards. You guys know who I excluded off of this list. So I want to focus on the people that are on here, because I felt like I dove too deep in the honorable mentions in the last one. If you're upset, let me know in the comments down below. If you agree or you think someone should be higher or lower, again, let me know. At number 10, I have the man, Andrew Nembhard. Now, again, this could have been anybody. This could have been anybody else. It was tough. This was a very hard decision. But Andrew Nembhard averaged 10 points, 5 assists, less than 3.5 rebounds, over a steal. He shot 29% from deep and 53% from two-point land. Andrew Nembhard squeaked onto this list, and I'll tell you why. Obviously, what I'm doing here is, I mentioned it in the first episode, so again, be sure to go check that out if you haven't. This is based off of last season, regular season, as well as postseasons, and a little bit of projections going into next year. So the main reason Andrew Nembhard squeaked onto the top 10 here is obviously those numbers don't jump at you, but his playoff numbers and his performance, they weren't significant leaps just numbers wise. But if you watch the playoffs, then you know Andrew Nembhard with the ball in his hands is a scary, scary man. Obviously, the Pacers are going to be without Halliburton next year, without Miles Turner, the longest tenured Pacer at that point. Andrew Nembhard is going to be taking all of the responsibility. I know they have Siakam, and Siakam's going to be putting up all NBA numbers as well. I'm not saying that Andrew Nembhard is going to be all NBA, but man, this guy, he's got nothing. He's got no expectations this year. Go out, ball out, improve that 3-point percentage, which I think he will. He shot 29%. So, I mean, you can't really shoot much worse than that from deep. I feel like he can create his own shot so well. We know he's great on the defensive end, but offensively, this man has the tools. I think Halliburton, being the ball dominant playmaking guard that he is, we saw Hallie. He's an incredible playmaker, probably the best ball handler in the league as far as setting everyone else up, right? Nembhard, I feel like, could create his own shot and improve facilitating. He was already averaging 5 assists last year. Why can't that go up to 7 next season? Why can't that 10 points per game go up to 15, 16? There's nothing stopping him other than himself. See, you'll see like Siakam running the point forward. You'll see Nembhard running the point guard essentially, but he is a shooting guard. That's his true position, especially with TJ McConnell out missing for the first portion of the season. Andrew Nembhard's going to be able to do whatever he wants with that ball. And I think based off of his postseason progression last year, the last 2 years, we saw him step it up in the postseason. I think he can bring that postseason effort and those numbers into the regular season next year. So I have Andrew Nembhard at number 10. I know Pacers fans are happy to see like, hey, he's on here. And spoiler alert, Siakam's probably going to be there for the small forward episode as well. I don't know where yet. But Andrew Nembhard, I am so excited to see what his ceiling is. As young as he is, I'm so pumped because he's got no restrictions next year. As long as he's healthy, which health hasn't really been a major issue for this Pacers team until Halliburton went down, there's nothing stopping him from bouncing up into, why not the top 5? You'll see this list. I see this is going to be so big for the Pacers. Obviously, we need Halliburton to recover, but this season could show the world that the Pacers this could make Andrew Nembhard an all-star. I'm not saying he's going to be an all-star this year, but he could be a perennial time all-star. He's got it on defense. All he needs to do is be able to shoot more. He just needs to shoot more, and he's going to have that opportunity next year. So shout out Andrew Nembhard. He cracked the top 10. Honestly, I kept switching him between 9 and 10. I knew he was in here. You'll see who we have at number 9. He's a guy that puts up numbers all around the board, to be honest. Shoots well from deep, shoots well from the floor. The only thing that he lacks is defensively, but that could improve. All it is effort. And if people around him he's not bad defensively by any means. At number 9, we have Austin Reeves of the Los Angeles Lakers. I kept switching between him and Nembhard, but I think because of the numbers that Austin Reeves has put up, I had to give him the edge. He averaged 20 points per game, almost 6 assists, 4.5 rebounds, a steal per game as well, all while shooting 37, basically 38% from deep and 54% from 2. Those numbers are like incredibly impressive from a non-Lakers fan. I think Lakers fans should be so excited for next season, mainly because they got Luka Doncic. LeBron James, 41 years old. Listen, when you look at this lineup, defense is a worry. You know, you need athletic guys surrounded around Luka Doncic, athletic, defensive. At least they have the paint defense with DeAndre Ayton. He's a great paint defender, not so well on the perimeter, but again, that could improve with more reps together. Austin Reeves next year, his numbers might dip. They might drop to like 18, 19, 17. I don't think they'll drop or increase by more than 3 next season. He's not going to have the ball in his hands as much, right? So his assist numbers might drop as well. But if you look at it, just zoom out for a second. If you put Austin Reeves on any other team in this NBA, do they not get better? As you know, as long as you're not looking at like the Timberwolves or the Suns or anybody. If you're looking at a team that needs a prolific shooting guard, I'll just say the Pistons. You know, we're unsure about what Jaden Ivey's going to look like, right? Jaden Ivey did not crack the top 10. Spoiler alert. Austin Reeves brings so much energy. He's young. He can shoot. He demands attention. Obviously, we know he's going to be playing with Luka Doncic, right? The reason why I'm saying his points might not drop is because think of all the drive and kicks that Austin Reeves, he's not going to need to create his own shot ever. He's not. But if they want to run Luka like they were doing with Kyrie, they can. Austin Reeves has the ball handling. He has the shot creation. He has the facilitating. If they want to use him as like a Kyrie to Luka, they can. He averaged 20 points per game last year on great percentages. Austin Reeves has potential to be one of the he's already one of the best shooting guards, but he can be a perennial all-star. I know I said that about Andrew Nemhard, but the promise, the potential that this guy has is through the freaking roof. I think Lakers fans should be ridiculously excited going into this year. Austin Reeves brings you a sort of energy and this swagger that I don't think any team would look at and think, wow, I don't want that guy on my team. Like, Austin Reeves could be incredible this year. He was incredible last year. They just needed pieces around them. They got DeAndre Ayton. They got Jake LaRavia. They got Luka Doncic now. I think Lakers fans should be excited. And I honestly think that they are an underrated team. Now that I just watched the preseason game of Luka yesterday in Phoenix, they lost the game, but Luka in just 20-some minutes had 24 points, I think. I think the Lakers are a little bit underrated. I think we're all underrating them. I know their backups aren't that great, but a couple trades here and there, some chemistry. I think if the DeAndre Ayton addition works out, the Lakers are underrated. And I think everyone overlooks Austin Reeves. That backcourt is going to be dangerous. Why can't they be a top 3 offensive backcourt in the league? Why can't they? Who's their competition? Obviously, we're going to get into that competition later. But I don't think you have a better 1-2 as far as a starting point guard and starting shooting guard than Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves. I would be foaming out of the mouth how excited I am if I was a Lakers fan. So shout out Austin Reeves being number 9 on this list. I could have put him at 8. But I just couldn't do it, especially after what I saw in the playoffs last year. That's why at number 8, we have Mikal Bridges. His name gives me nightmares. He averaged 17.5 points, over 3.5 assists, just over 3 rebounds, 1 steal, half a block, all while shooting. And I don't want you to take these 3-point percentages too seriously when I'm speaking about Mikal Bridges. 35% from deep and 59% from 2. If you guys remember last year, Mikal Bridges' jump shot was broke. Like, it looked like such a dumb trade. It still is sort of a dumb trade. No team wants to trade that amount of picks for, I don't want to call him a role player, but I mean, he's a starter, right? He's a starter on any team in this league. But with the new CBA, it was a very expensive trade, and everybody was starting to look at the Knicks like they messed up. But no, they didn't. They just didn't use him that well last year, and he still averaged 17.5 points. If you guys watched the Knicks consistently throughout the year, which I did, you would see that Mikal Bridges' numbers all started to just slowly go up. One, he needed to learn and play with them. I think he got traded there just before training camp last year, so that's all the practice and reps that they got in. 2, Tom Thibodeau was running the offense purely through Jalen Brunson. And I talked about this when I was talking about Jalen Brunson yesterday. If they can play through Cat like Minnesota was, Mikal Bridges would have a field day on the offensive side. Whether he can sit in the corner or in the dunker spot or just swing around the perimeter, Mikal Bridges' jump shot, he tweaked his form. I guess his shooting coach changed it last summer. And that's why I had this weird hitch. That hitch is gone. It was gone in the playoffs. Mikal Bridges, already one of the most prolific perimeter defenders in the league. And guess who's his running man? He's right next to OG Anunoby, who's right there with him as far as defensive prowess. Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably wondering, is Mikal Bridges a shooting guard? Yeah, he's going to be the predominant 2 guard on this Knicks team. I think Josh Hart's going to be coming off the bench as the 6th man. So he does have a real chance at winning 6th man of the year as far as Hart goes. Hart will still be playing some of the most minutes on the team. I think he had the most minutes played on any player in the league last year. Shout out Tom Thibodeau. But Mikal Bridges is essentially going to be there too. Because from what we saw with their lineups that they've been talking about, it's going to be Brunson, Mikal, OG, Cat at the 4 with Mitchell Robinson, or Yabusele as their center. So their offense is going to be spread so fine now that Cat doesn't have to play the 5. With an actual big man like Mitchell Robinson or Yabusele, I know Yabusele's shorter, but he's huge. He's brolic. That the offense is going to crack wide open. And I think Knicks fans should be extremely excited because if it's not this year, then what year is it going to be? The Celtics are down. Tatum's talking about wanting to come back in March. The Pacers are down. Again, I still think they're playoff teams at worst playing, but this is your year. The Cavs and who else? The Cavs and who else? I feel like the East is so different because in the tier one, you have right now going into the next year, you have the Knicks, Cavs, and then the tier two would be the Magic, the Pistons, right? Maybe the Raptors. We'll see if they have a nice team cohesion, but they haven't played together yet. So the West has like four tiers. The East really only has like, I guess they have four as well. You have the tier one with the Cavs and Knicks. Tier two, you would have the Pistons, the Magic, and then you'd have like the play-in team. Or I guess the Hawks could be in that tier two as well. I'd put the Hawks there. And then tier three, you'd have the play-in teams like the Heat, the Bulls, the people who always make the teams who always make the play-in, and then the garbage teams with the Nets, Wizards, and Hornets. So yeah, as far as Mikal Bridges goes, he's 8. He's 8. And honestly, I could have put him higher, but I just could not put him above the man who has gotten all the buzz last summer. The guy who was traded, I think, as soon as the season ended. Maybe even on I think it was in the final. Was it in the final? It might have been like the first week of the offseason. None other than Dinosaur Arms himself, Desmond Bane. I know we're moving through this list pretty quickly, but I don't think that they're shooting guards have changed a lot in the last few decades, right? We had Kobe Bryant, right? We had Michael Jordan. Shooting guards have completely, Joe Dumars. Shooting guards have completely changed. Most shooting guards, like James Harden came into the league as shooting guard, Tyler Hero came into the league as a shooting guard, and now they are like thrusted into the point guard position. All it takes is a coach to see the vision in that player. And you have a Tyler Hero. He's pretty good at facilitating. Now he's forced to do that. Same with James Harden. I mean, we know how good Mike D'Antoni unlocked that guy. But number 7, let's stay on track. Desmond Bane. He averaged just over 19 points a game last year, 5.5 assists, 6 rebounds, just over a steal, half a block. And this is the kicker. This is why the Magic traded for him. This is why the Magic are one of the most hyped teams. This is why the Magic have somehow throttled the Pistons in all the power rankings going into this year. He averaged 39.2% from deep and 54% from 2. Desmond Bane, I cannot tell you a shooting guard that would have helped this team more than him. Maybe, well, obviously anybody above him on this list, but I feel like the Magic, they killed it this offseason. Getting Desmond Bane, you just fixed your spacing. Now, if Jalen Suggs next to him can somehow get consistent with creating his own shot and his own three-point shot, you now have, we all know Franz Wagner. Every summer we say he's going to improve that 3. Paolo Banchero, right? This team could be scary. Unfortunately, we haven't seen them play yet. But Desmond Bane as a shooting guard, honestly, this Magic team is going to be scary. They're going to be extremely scary. When you look at what he brings to the table defensively, Magic, if you told me the Magic are going to have the highest defensive ratings next year, I'd believe you. I think they were top 3 last year, if not number 1. The issue with the Magic is their spacing. Desmond Bane fixes that. Now, can Desmond Bane do it all himself? I don't think so. But will it open it up enough to get Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner to be their best? I think so. He can play make, right? We saw what he can do when John Morant was out for 32 games last year. And the year before, and the year before that. Desmond Bane's a prolific scorer. He's a great passer. I think he's going to demand a lot of gravity. But we all know Paolo Banchero is going to be the one getting all the collapses on him in the paint. Guess what? Now he can kick it out to Desmond Bane instead of KCP. KCP is not what they needed. They thought he's what they needed. But the reason KCP looked so good, here's what I've learned. When you play next to players like Nikola Jokic, the gravity that he demands gives wide open shots each and every time. Look at what happened with Bruce Brown, right? People thought he was out of the league. He was bouncing around for 3 years, ever since, or 3 years? 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. He was bouncing around. I think he was on 3 different teams. And now he's back in Denver, and watch Bruce Brown have a resurrection year. I think the same thing is going to happen with Desmond Bane. I think he is going to force people to guard Paulo Banchero and Franz Wagner down low in ISO situations until Paulo Banchero and Franz Wagner can prove that their finishing ability is on that upper echelon of this league. Desmond Bane, he's probably going to start finding himself wide open maybe 10, 15 games into the season. That's a guy you cannot shooting 40, damn near 40% from deep. He's going to fix all of their issues. And I think Desmond Bane is a little bit overrated right now. Not because of him individually, but because of people thinking that he's going to just bring this Magic team from, sort of a disaster last year to an upper echelon team. They have them. I think most power rankings I haven't seen is they're at number 3. They're behind the Knicks. I forgot to mention the Bucks in that other tier, but they're right below the Knicks and the Cavs. I don't know if he's going to improve them that much. The Magic will improve, especially offensively, so long as health is on their side. I know last year they kept getting those like tic-tacky injuries with Banchero and Franz Wagner. Obviously, Mo Wagner's out. But I think the Magic are going to be good, and that's why I have Desmond Bane at my 7. Number 6 was tricky for me because this could have gone either way. I honestly could have put him top 4. If you have this guy in your top 4, I won't be mad at you, and I hope you're not mad at me for having him in my number 6. At number 6, we have Derek White of the Boston Celtics. Again, he could have been 5th. He could have been 4th. But since we're doing a little bit more projections into next year, you'll see why I have him at 6. Derek White averaged 16.5 points, a little less than 5 assists, 4.5 rebounds, a steal, a block, while shooting 38% from deep and 59% from 2. Remember, this is basing it off of last year. This is basing it off into projections into next year. Derek White, I know he's not a flashy player. I think he came from the Spurs, which makes sense why he's not flashy. He's not a flashy player. He's not a superstar in this league. But I'll tell you what he is. He's more than a glue guy. Way more than a glue guy. Can Derek White be an all-star next year? I know they're changing the parameters of being selected, like international slots and American-born slots. Derek White could average over 20 points a game next year. Why can't he? You could see this brand new Derek White, Jaylen Brown connection without Tatum, and I think I'm excited. I know I'm not a Celtics fan, but man, it's going to be fun to see. Derek White is such a good player. If you guys don't watch the Celtics enough, I'll just tell you this, and this is everything you need to know about Derek White. If Tatum's having a cold night, if Brown is having a cold night, guess what? Derek White's here to save the day. Look at any game last year. Any game that Tatum had like a 3 for 12 night. He had a few of them. Brown had a 2 for 10 night. Derek White shooting 9 for 12. They win the game. Every time the Pistons go up against the Boston Celtics, Derek White always goes off. Because who do we have to defend them? Asar's obviously guarding Tatum, right? This team has nothing. No expectations next year. And that's why I think Derek White's going to, break out of a shell. They have no expectations. People are writing them off, saying that they're not even a play-in team. I don't think so. As long as injuries don't hurt them more next year, I see no reason why the Boston Celtics can't be a top 6 team in the East. I know they lost Porzingis. I know they lost Drew Holiday. I know they lost Al Horford. And I can't even tell you the name of their starting center. I can't pronounce it. Oh, they lost, what's his name? They lost, they're calling him Vanilla over there in San Antonio. Luke Cornett, I believe. Yeah, they're calling Wemby and Luke Cornett the French Vanilla as their nickname, which I think is sweet. Luke Cornett has tapped into something else, bro. What a steal for the San Antonio Spurs. I think as long as they can stay healthy as they can be, with Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, this team could surprise a lot of people. At worst, they're a play-in team. Now, I've said it all the time. If Derek White tweaks an ankle or Jaylen Brown breaks a finger or something like that, they might shut it down depending on how they're doing next year. But I'll tell you this much: Joe Mazzulla is not going to quit on this team. If they were playing G Leaguers, he's not going to quit. Did you guys see what Joe Mazzulla just did against I guess Joe Mazzulla was getting sick of the media. And each and every year, he kept challenging the media to play a game of basketball against him and the coaching staff. Well, this year, go look up the final score if you haven't seen it. He decided to coaching staff against media. And the coaching staff beat the media, I think 60-5. Joe Mazzulla he's basically the equivalent to Erwin Smith from Attack on Titan, if you guys are hip, if you guys watch anime. He could tell me to run through a wall and I'm going to do it. And that's what Derek White is for them as well. Derek White is more than a glue guy. He's more than a glue guy. The talent on this guy has him at number 6, and he could have been 4. He could have been 5. He could have been either or. If you have him in your top 3, I'm not mad at you. Well, you might be crazy, but I'm not going to be mad at you. At number 5, I know. He was a small forward last year, but he's a shooting guard this year, so he has to be here. And I know everyone is talking about him. We are entering the top 5, ladies and gents. I know you guys are sick of hearing his name. Believe me, Amen Thompson is at number 5. And I know what you're thinking. He averaged 14 points, 4 assists, 8 rebounds, 1.5 steals, 1.3 blocks. And wait for it. He shot 27% from deep and 59% from 2, and he made all defensive first team. Amen Thompson, where do I begin with you? Mind you, I'm recording this the day after I just watched him in the preseason. I think he had 24 points in, 25 minutes or something. He hit free throws. I think he was 9 for 9 from the free throw line. Mind you, that was just in one game. Asar Thompson, so far in the preseason, has shot, I believe, 6 for 15. His twin brother. Now, you guys know I'm a Pistons fan. A twin has to be better, right? We've never seen it where like siblings are like 1 and 2 in this league, right? Like they're the 2 best players in the league. We've never seen that before. One is always going to be better than the other. Amen Thompson has a year on Asar Thompson, his twin brother. And I don't mean by age. I genuinely mean he has a year more experience than Asar Thompson. Asar went down with a blood clots late in the 2023-2004 season. And he missed the entire summer. And he also missed the first couple months of the season. We had to slowly bring him back in Detroit. And I know we're talking about Amen here, but right now we're on Asar because I have to explain myself. Right now, Amen is better than Asar. Right now. He's got better pieces around him. He's obviously got Durant now. And he's had a year and some change to practice his game, to learn how to be a point forward in this league. The defense was there. The athleticism is there. You can't teach those things. Well, you can't teach athleticism. But Amen Thompson, I know we always say this, if they develop a jump shot. If. His jump shot form is a lot smoother than last year. It's looking good. I'm not saying he's going to jump up to become a 35% shooter next year. If he can shoot 35% from deep, you just mail it in. Mail it in. Because the Rockets got it. The Rockets got it for the next 10 years if he can somehow shoot like that. I think if he improves to just 30%, at least show that you're a threat from the corner. The Rockets' offense and defense is going to be light years above the rest of the league. For now, one always has to be better than the other. Amen is better than Asar right now. He is. And it hurts me to say that as a Pistons fan because all summer long I was saying Asar, he just didn't play that much. And it's true. Last year, you saw it in the playoffs as well. JB Bickerstaff was only playing him for like 4 to 5 minute stretches. And he claims it's because he was tired. They asked Asar if he was gassed at the end of the game when he took him out. The same game where Jalen Brunson crossed him over and hit that step back game winner 3 that sealed the series. That same game, People forget, but for the 5 minutes before that shot, 5 minutes, Asar forced Brunson to shoot, I think, 1 for 7, 1 for 6. JB takes Asar out with 3 minutes left. Brunson suddenly scores like 14 straight and hits that game winner over Asar when he came back in for one last possession. I think Asar is going to be just a year behind Amen. Now Asar is going to improve. He's going to. But I think he's going to be overshadowed by his brother out in Houston. And I think Amen being as good as he is, if you guys are watching on YouTube, you can see my hair. I'm getting a haircut today. My hair right now is just peeking out of my hat and it's pissing me off. I'm getting my haircut today. So I'll look clean next podcast, I swear. There's just too much to say about Amen Thompson. He's at number 5. I have to project a little bit into next season. But just after last season, what he showed us, I probably had him at 6. But now, with the projections going into this year, I know he's overrated at this point. But he's that good. It's scary. So Amen Thompson, I got you at number 5. It's going to be a fun year for the NBA. Now, number 4 was tricky. It was tricky because I know you guys are probably wondering, he either cracked the list or he didn't. Spoiler, Dyson Daniels, I couldn't put him in the top 10 yet. Now, he could make me eat those words. He could. But I could not put him just because he's a major offensive liability. He started picking it up later as the year went on. This year, again, he could shut me up. Definitely an honorable mention. At number 4, you put down the pitchforks, all right? I have Zachary LaVine for the Sacramento Kings. Now, just wait. He averaged 22.5 points, basically 4 assists, 3.5 rebounds, over half a steal. This is the kicker. 45% from 3 and 56% from 2. Zach LaVine, what's happened? What is happening, man? You went from the Bulls, a perennial play-in team, to the perennial play-in team out west in Sacramento, the perennial mid team. Zach LaVine, you could put him on any team that is a contender, playoff, anything. And if healthy, he is arguably it's not even a debate. He's arguably a top 2 shooting guard in the league. If he's healthy and has a team around him, a competent team. Unfortunately for Zach LaVine, his position is absolutely loaded in Sacramento. The ball dominant guard that wants to score first. You have Dennis Schroeder now. You have DeMar DeRozan, your running mate in Chicago. He's with you there. You got Malik Monk. This team, and they wanted to get Kuminga. I hate the owner out in Sacramento. I'm sorry, Sac fans. I feel for y'all, man. And then you have Domantas Sabonis, who's not in their same position. But guess what? He's a ball-dominant player. If he doesn't have the ball, he's not doing anything for you. Other than getting rebounds to get the ball, obviously. Zach LaVine's talent, Zach LaVine is such a good player. You put Zach LaVine on any team that needs a guard, and he's that guy. Efficiency, his shot selection, which was rocky at the start of his career. Remember when Zach LaVine was just a dunker? What happened to that? As soon as he developed the 3-point shot, this guy is shooting 44.6% from deep. That is not to be understated whatsoever. Zach LaVine can do it all. Unfortunately for him, his position is just absolutely loaded on his own team every single time. You can't let Zach LaVine cook. I'm going to repeat this again. When this guy is healthy, there's not many shooting guards that do it better than he does. He does everything. And I think going into this year, what expectations can I have for the Sacramento Kings? Make the play-in? What could I say that could prove my point further? I feel like Zach LaVine could be a number 2 option on a playoff team. At worst, a number 3. He's a better Austin Reeves. Is he not? Defensively, sure, he lacks. But he's a better version of Austin Reeves. He's better offensively. He's better efficient. Like, he's just a more efficient player than everybody I named behind him. Hell, he's more efficient than the guy I have at number 3. his teams around him just have not been suited for him. And, you know, if Zach LaVine wanted to do, if he wanted to be on a winning team, he could. He could have demanded multiple trades to multiple teams. It's just I don't think winning is that important to him. And that's why you could call them empty calories if you want, right? But as far as a player to player, Zach LaVine stands above a lot of people in this league, and he gets disrespected. And that's why I have him at number 4. If you want to swap Amen Thompson or Derek White and put Zach LaVine at number 6, I'm not going to be mad at you. But as far as who's proved it in this league, Zach LaVine has proved a hell of a lot more than both those guys I just named. And it's not to discredit them by any means. Zach LaVine is just that good. And he gets disrespected. The casual fans, they don't care about Zach LaVine because look at the teams he's been on. It's sad, man. It's sad. And that's why I have Zach LaVine at my number 4. Again, like I said, he is just an all-around great player offensively as well. He can't really be compared to a whole lot of people in this league. Guys, we're about to enter our top 3. I do want to say, again, if you have been enjoying it, be sure to subscribe or follow. And be sure to leave a like and 5-star reviews. And again, you can let me know if you'd like to flip-flop any of these players I have or insert any players that I don't have on this list. I appreciate y'all again for if you guys are listening here. Hey, if you did listen this far, could you leave a comment under here? Say your favorite team in the NBA. Mine's the Pistons. Just let me. I want to gauge how many people. I know this podcast is going to start popping off when the season actually starts, but before the season, I'd like to see who we got here. So say your favorite NBA team. All right, guys. At number 3, we have the man from Grand Rapids, Michigan, Devin Booker from the Phoenix Suns. Last season, he averaged 25.5 points, over 7 assists, over 4 rebounds, a steal, and less than half a block. He shot 33% from deep. Yuck. And 54% from 2. Now, I feel for Devin. I feel for him. I don't know what happened last year. I don't think any of us do. The storm cloud that follows Kevin Durant just infected that team beyond belief. And we saw Devin start falling out of love in basketball. Guys, it was just a couple of years. Well, oh my goodness, actually. It was 4 years since this guy was in the finals. 4. It wasn't that long ago. And now look, what has happened? He's not the issue. He's not the issue. Can Devin Booker be your number 1? Is he a number 2? What is he suited at? Devin Booker does not have a team around him going into the next year. He's got Jalen Green, same position. He's got Dylan Brooks, which is a real good morale guy to have. He hypes everybody else up. But outside of that, they have both centers from Charlotte on their team now. They're basically the Charlotte Suns. They got Nick Richards and I think Mark Williams? Did Mark Williams get traded? Nick Richards and somebody else. Somebody else. I think I might be right, though. The Phoenix Suns next year have 0 expectations. And that's why I feel for Devin Booker. He is too good of a player. Too good to be this long into the NBA. He didn't get an all-star last year. He didn't get selected. Devin Booker wasn't an all-star. He is that good of a player where he should be all NBA every year. But unfortunately, what has Devin Booker? He hasn't done anything. Is he going to be a Sun for life? I know he wants to. I know that's like what all these players want to do now. He wants to be a Sun for life, but what are they doing for you? I know, what's his name? Is it Matt Ishbia? Is that the owner of if I got that right, I think he's the owner of the Suns. I know he's done a lot to try to bring this team together. You know, he swung for the fences for Bradley Beal, for Kevin Durant, did all of that, but he ripped his team apart. You know, I really do feel for Devin Booker, but at the same time, he just signed his extension. So how can I feel bad for a guy that's making that much money? If he's happy, then hey, so be it. But Devin Booker's at number 3, and he easily could be number 2. He could. But unfortunately, the guy I have above him is an MVP candidate. I don't think Devin Booker will ever be the MVP of this league. I don't know if honestly, I don't think he'll ever be the best player on a championship team either. I think at this point in his career, Devin Booker's a number 2. He could be your number 1 offensive weapon, but at this point, he needs He had DeAndre Ayton and Chris Paul. DeAndre Ayton had his career year back then when he was actually like younger. But what does Devin Booker need? A Jokic? A Jokic would change everything. What would he need? He needs another ball handler, that's for sure. I feel for Devin. As far as like how good he is, it's sort of like Zach LaVine here, except Devin Booker is a better player. His efficiency wasn't that great last year, but that's mainly because of the team he had around him. I mean, there's only one ball on the court, guys. There's one ball. That's Zach LaVine's biggest issue, and that was the Suns' biggest issue last year and the year before. There's one basketball. There's not two. There's not three. You can't have so many clashing personalities and clashing play styles all on one team. The Sacramento Kings would like to dispute that because they have all the same players doing the same thing. But as far as the Suns go, what more could I say? What more could I say? They have zero expectations next year, and I think you're going to see a lot of what do the kids say? Aura farming. You're going to see some insane clips from Devin Booker next year. You're going to. You might see some game winners as well. D Book, I wish you luck. You're a top 3 shooting guard in this league, and I think everybody watching also has you at a top 3 at least. Your only issue is your team, man. I just don't know what are we doing? What are we doing? Guys, at number 2, I did say we have an MVP candidate next year, right? Oh, oops, I accidentally clicked, oh, my fault. If you guys are watching on the YouTube, I made a little bit of an error with my visuals. Guys, at number 2, we have Donovan Mitchell, Spida of the Cleveland Cavaliers. He averaged 24 points a game, 5 assists, 4.5 rebounds, about a steal and a half. He shot 37% from deep and 51% from 2. He was an all-star last year, 5th in MVP voting, and all-NBA first team. Much deserved. All around, much deserved. He was 5th in MVP voting. Donovan Mitchell is that good of a player. Ever since his Utah days, he has shown that he can score, he can defend if need be, and he's got energy. An inexhaustible engine to any team he's on. But can he get over that hump? I know. I talked about Darius Garland in the point guard episode. I don't want to beat a dead horse here and talk about their playoff misfortune last year and the year before. They lost to the Pacers, right? Mobley missed a couple games. Garland missed a few games. Donovan Mitchell was banged up. I hate that excuse, though. Everybody's banged up in the playoffs. Everybody. Every single team is banged up in the playoffs. They are. Whether it's like sitting out. If you're sitting out, then yes, you have a reason. You have an excuse. Donovan Mitchell was banged up, and the offense ran through him. It ran strictly through him. Watching that Pacers series, it was Donovan Mitchell versus the entire Pacers squad. 10 men deep. 11 men deep. They were that good. Donovan Mitchell was hanging on. He was hitting insane shot after crazy shot. He's that good of a player, not just in the regular season, but in the playoffs, he's good. He's a playoff riser. So why can he not get it done in the playoffs? It's not the team's fault. I'll tell you what it is. And I talked about it in the point guard episode. So if you want a more in-depth review, be sure to check that out, as well as the one positive thing about each team. Evan Mobley is not I looked it up after the first podcast. Evan Mobley is his usage rate, not even top 100 in the league. There are 100 and some players who have higher usage rates in this NBA than Evan Mobley. Dude, Evan Mobley is too good of a player to not be ran as a point forward. Now, that's fine. If you don't want him to bring the ball up the court, that's fine. Use him like Jokic. I'm not saying he needs to bring the ball up the court, but put him at the elbow, put him at the high post, and let the offense run through him. There's no reason that every late game situation, of course it worked. They were one of the best clutch teams in the league with Darius Garland and Mitchell both cracking the top 10 for clutch player of the year. If it's working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But as far as the rest of the game goes, preserve your energy. Run through Evan Mobley once in a while. Obviously, they run through Garland. They run through Mitchell. Everyone knows the ball's going to be in one of their hands at the end of the game. To become a little bit unpredictable, they need to use Mobley better. And, he's only going to improve. Mobley's, 24? Evan Mobley is too good of a player to just be sitting in the dunker spot, setting screens, popping, rolling. He's too good of a player. Put the ball in his hands. Let Donovan Mitchell be a little easy. Darius Garland's life will get a hell of a lot easier too because he doesn't have the gravity that Mitchell and Mobley do. This team, it's now or never, man. It's now or never. If they don't make at least the conference finals, blow it up. I'm sorry. It's not working. You need to trade Garland. You need to trade Jared Allen, somebody. And you need to keep Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley and build around those two. Because at this point, if it doesn't work, especially with how good Lonzo Ball looks, you are too good of a team to keep falling short in the playoffs. And Donovan Mitchell is too good of a player to not be making it out of the second round. I just watched the Pistons versus Cavs last night, preseason game. And the Cavs haven't won a game in the preseason. So last night, when the Pistons were playing their G Leaguers in the fourth quarter, in the entire second half, we had our G Leaguers. We started a G Leaguer, Dennis Jenkins, he played extremely well. I think he had 20 points. He played really well. So shout out Dennis Jenkins. But they had Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen, and Evan Mobley on the court with less than 4 minutes left in a preseason game just to ensure a win. And they were up like 12 at that point. They couldn't get away from the Pistons G Leaguers. I'm going to just throw a couple names out there if y'all know them. Bobby Klintman on the Pistons. Tulu Smith. Dennis Jenkins, I mentioned him. These are the guys that Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen were struggling against last night. Lonzo Ball looks incredible as well. He's everything that they needed. Everything. As long as he can stay healthy, the Cavs, there's no reason why they cannot make the Eastern Conference Finals at a bare minimum. I know I talked a lot about the Cavs, but Donovan Mitchell, it's sort of like what more needs to be said about him? And it's sort of the same thing about the guy who's number one on my shooting guard list. I think it's sort of undisputed. Let me explain why. Donovan Mitchell has been a consistent player for the last 5 years. You know what you're going to get. You know what you're going to get. This is his ceiling. I don't see Donovan Mitchell getting any better than he is right now. Could he be at the MVP table at the end of the season? Sure, that's fine. He was last year. I don't know if he'll ever be an MVP. But he can, at his best, I think he can be a top 3 MVP candidate, depending how the Cavs do this year, next year. I'll say this about this one man who I have at number one. What the hell is his ceiling? What is his ceiling? This guy at number one said last year he wants to improve his three-point shooting. Well, guess what? He made the most threes in the league last year on his most attempts per game, on his highest percentage as well. He said this year that he has improved his post game. And why? Who are we to say that's cap? He has shown us every year when he says he wants to work on something, he works on it and comes back a new player. And that's why I have Anthony Edwards at my number one spot. This is a true shooting guard. This is the blueprint of what a shooting guard should be in the NBA. Anthony Edwards last year with the Minnesota Timberwolves averaged 27.5 points, 4.5 assists, almost 6 rebounds, just over a steal, half a block. He shot 39.5% from deep. Let's just say 40%. And he shot 49.5% from two. Let's say 50%. He was an all-star, tied for 7th in MVP voting, tied with Cade Cunningham. Clutch player of the year. He was number 3. He reached the conference finals for 2 years in a row with a different roster as well. With a different roster. He doesn't have Cat. He doesn't have who else did they lose? Was it just Cat? Cat, I think just some filler. But, you added Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, right? And now we lost Nickeil Alexander-Walker going into the next year. And he was all NBA second team. Anthony Edwards. You can say whatever you want about his personal life. As a basketball player, this mentality, this work ethic, is what you want your star player to have. Just to compare him to a player that's in the same echelon as him, Cade Cunningham, who made his leap last year. Cade is quiet demeanor. He was getting loud last season a little bit, but Cade doesn't flaunt as much as Anthony Edwards. This guy's flashy. This guy's confident. He's got an ego, but guess what? He backs it up. He backs it all up. He reached the conference finals for 2 years in a row. I don't think people are hyping that up enough. He fell to the Oklahoma City Thunder, and that's fine. They were undisputed the best team last year, and they're probably going to be the best team again next year. But now that this team has training camp to work with Julius Randle, they extended him as well. What is stopping the Minnesota Timberwolves from making that leap? It might be the Thunder. Anthony Edwards is just, every year he's gotten better. What is his ceiling? I don't think any of us know. I don't think any of us know what his ceiling is. Can he be, when it's all said and done, a top 3 shooting guard in NBA history? Could he? I mean, who's the top 3? Who would you guys have as the top 3 shooting guard? I don't think people count James Harden as a shooting guard anymore. What is it? Jordan? Kobe? Dwayne Wade? Maybe? I don't know. I would argue Dumars. He's in the conversation at least. Top 5. Anthony Edwards could be arguably one of the best players in his position, one of the best players of all time. It all just depends on what he can do in the playoffs. You've made 2 in a row, 2 conference finals. Can you get those rings? Can you make that next step? This kid wants to win. And it's all a matter of how bad does he want it? How good of a team can he have around him? There's nothing stopping Anthony Edwards. He doesn't need to be talked about a whole lot. His 3-point shooting, I remember Timberwolves fans were sort of complaining that he was settling too much for 3 last year. Guess what? He was. He absolutely was. He had games where he was not shooting well, and he was taking way more than he needed to. But it didn't matter. Because at the end of the day, he was stepping up when the Timberwolves needed him the most. Yes, he has off nights, but that's what Julius Randle's there for. That's what he's there for. I think Dante DiVincenzo is going to be a huge improvement. Jaden McDaniels skyrocketed last year. He was incredible. I think I might have Jaden McDaniels in my top 10 small forwards. I'd have to look. That's the next podcast. Getting ready for the season to start. Anthony Edwards is him. And I'm not even personally a fan of his, but man, is it fun to watch him play. Even my fiance, who I forced to watch NBA with, who I forced her to watch NBA with me. Even she's a big fan of Anthony Edwards. Not personally, but as a player, my Lord, there's not many players as talented as he is and as fun as he is to watch. You never know what he's going to do. And that's why I think he's undisputed number 1. I think everybody has Ant at their number 1 unless you're a Booker and Donovan Mitchell fan, like first and foremost. If you're a Cavs and Suns fan, I think everybody's got to agree that Anthony Edwards is just undisputed right now, the best shooting guard. And that could change. We'll see what happens with Amen Thompson. We'll see if Donovan Mitchell can make that leap. They both have big leaps to take, and they're both in separate conferences. So maybe they take that leap at the same time, and it's going to be a harder debate. Well, we'll just have to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the 53-minute mark, and that is going to wrap this podcast up. I do want to say one more time, if you did enjoy, or if you disagreed with some things, be sure to let me know in the comments. I'm reading them all. As well as leave a 5-star review on Spotify and Apple Pod. It would help me tremendously, as well as leaving a like on the YouTube. It would really, really mean the world. That helps more than you guys could ever possibly understand. Be sure to subscribe to our main YouTube channel, Jay-Z Uncut. Follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord server to get connected with me, talk with the community. Do all that. All the links will be down below. All right, guys. Yeah. Next episode will be ranking the top 10 small forwards. Let me know what y'all want to see before the season starts. We are 6 days away. Next Tuesday is the first game. We'll probably do like a podcast that day to talk about things to look out for. But I'm excited. I hope you guys are as well, man. This is going to be my first ever basketball season that I'm covering ever. Listen, I was a gaming content creator. We can do like a Q&A episode at some point if you guys would like that. But I was a gaming content creator. I don't want to give too many details because then we got to save some for the future episodes of like the mailbox episodes. So this is my first ever NBA season I'm covering, and I've been covering it my whole life. I just haven't been making content. Everybody knows I'm the NBA guy. So on that note, I hope you guys are excited for all the content that we got coming out. Be sure to sub to our main YouTube channel. Again, we post documentary style movie videos over there. So be sure to go check that out. 5-star review, drop a like, subscribe. And I got nothing left to say except for thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And as always, guys, thank you for watching/listening. I'll see you in the next one.